remember someone asked me a few months ago if I could be paid to do anything in the world, what would I choose to do? And I immediately said prayer when they asked me. And it was sort of a cheeky answer, like, yeah, I'm a prayer warrior. But I think it really speaks to where I am in life and where I am in terms of my faith. And I want to talk about it because it's definitely expanded into something so beautiful. I remember when I first began like getting into the law of attraction, manifestation, journaling, visualization, which was all just a roundabout way of my trying to reconnect with God, by the way. But when I first began, I would claim to be like convinced, and I would claim to like believe that it all worked and I could manifest anything that I desired. But then I would also never have a sense of urgency to do any of it. Any of the tricks or the hacks or whatever. Like I would maybe do it once or twice, but there was no consistency. Like I would feel like it was a chore almost. And I spoke about this a little on a previous episode where I said like journaling, I saw journaling as a chore at a certain point in my life. But imagine that something that is meant to be like the key to bringing you closer to your highest self, bringing you closer to God. Imagine seeing that as a chore. Like it's ridiculous when you think of it that way. And, I would be hard on myself for like the lack of discipline and the lack of structure, but I would also be extremely curious because it was so interesting to me. Like I would just observe my lack of urgency. I mean, I had the biggest lack of urgency when it came to prayer. And I think even just the acknowledgement of that lack of urgency was like the best thing ever because it led to me questioning everything that I claim to believe in. Like, did I actually believe in God? Do I actually believe that prayer works? And, like, if so, why am I not taking advantage of it? All of this. And so I created like this scenario in my head. I wanted to create this scenario in my head of like what it would actually look like if I believed in prayer. And so, like, there was this recurring vision that I would see where, like, there would be a little boy, maybe like 8 or 9, and he would end up like finding this sort of like magic microphone, right? That would make any wish come true, like if he spoke into it. And I don't want to get into like the nuances or anything because like of course God is more than just like a DJ who like plays song requests, but even just thinking about it in that plain way made me realize that there was definitely like a disconnect between what I knew or what I felt to be true versus what I was showcasing to be true with my actions. So once he finds out about its powers, how do you think he's going to respond? He's probably going to take every chance that he can to speak into that microphone. He doesn't like his bedtime microphone. He doesn't want to go to school microphone. Every single day, he's going to sneak away. He's going to finish his dinner as fast as he can so he can go say some more stuff in the microphone. He's going to like rush to brush his teeth and take his bath so that he can say like a few more wishes before bedtime. Like, do you see my point? Like, that's the way that you move when you know that the results promised are guaranteed. And of course, the truth is that, like, maybe not every wish per se will be granted, but like the good of all is guaranteed, right? I hope that the example is painting a good picture for you. But like, I mean, two things were extremely true. One, I didn't believe in the true power of prayer. And also, two, I was a lot more satisfied with my life than I allowed myself to admit. And that's why I had no sense of urgency. I had to become very honest with myself that I did not believe in the true power of prayer. I didn't believe in the true power of journaling. I didn't believe in the true power of positive affirmations. And that's why I lacked the consistency. So compare yourself to the little boy and ask, like, am I that eager? Am I taking advantage of the opportunities that I have today to connect with Christ consciousness? Am I prioritizing those moments? I mean, this has been one of the greatest realizations I feel, especially in the season of my life. I would just say, just in general, in my entire life, because now I see just how much opportunity I have to get closer to God on the daily basis, and just how much opportunity I have to create magic for myself and for others, right? Like, it's beautiful. So now, with every prayer, with every journal entry, with every positive affirmation, I feel like I'm literally in service to my highest self. I feel like I am in service to my future children, to my bloodline, and therefore in service to the kingdom. And I don't think that like you have to max it out every single day, but if you've never even had the desire to max out your day in this way, do you truly have faith? Like, are you truly as hungry for your soul's fulfillment as you claim? Like, let's be honest. We like we I feel like we all think that if we were in the reality where it were that easy to receive our blessings, like we, with just like the push of a button, that we would be all eager and persistent, like the little boy, like in my example. But like the truth is, if we had that metaphorical magic button at our disposal, which, like, spoiler alert, we do, but like, Bob Ricard, the press for champagne guy. Like, let's say we had that metaphorical press for miracles button, or like press for ultimate God consciousness. I don't know. I can guarantee you that the human mind would find some sort of way to warp that opportunity and convince you that this portal to ultimate God consciousness is actually faux or rigged or too risky or not worth it, or whatever you specifically need to be told, so that you are convinced to continue to stall and to continue to resist. I mean, you would manifest going into cardiac arrest before allowing yourself to push that button. That's the way that it works. Like, seriously, like whenever there is an opportunity for growth and expansion of Christ consciousness, the mind will immediately create new and unique obstacles for that specific opportunity. Like, we're just wired to make things extremely difficult. So, prayer, nature, gratitude, any sort of introspection that draws us back into the present, right? What stories have you conjured up in your head about these things to keep you from plugging into that infinite intelligence? I mean, how hard is prayer, right? Like, it's just having a conversation with God and then searching for the word, having, finding peace in his word and comfort in his word. I mean, what human being wouldn't take advantage of that, right? It's free, it costs nothing. And yet, the average human can list off millions of reasons and millions of excuses as to why they're not praying consistently on a daily basis. Same thing with any other mindful habit or wellness habit that you can think of that'll bring you closer to Christ consciousness, bring you closer to the highest version of yourself. There's always a reason to not do it. No time, no patience, no energy, no creativity. And because you never take the action, you never flex the muscle and gain the confidence or the clarity. And let me just talk about clarity for a second, because I know so many people say to move without clarity and to move without confidence. And I agree that in most cases, you really should not wait for either, right? You should not wait around for clarity or confidence to make a decision in most cases. But I also agree that there's another option, and that option is make it so that clarity and confidence are searching for you and not the other way around. And that's exactly what I did. So when I didn't have the clarity, I would second guess myself. I would triple guess myself, every decision, every opportunity. I would spend hours of, thinking of all of the opportunities or all of the outcomes, and I still wouldn't feel confident in any decision. I would wonder, like, is this really the right opportunity for me? Basically, everything in my life felt like one big what if. So I upgrade my identity. I ask myself, what habit or what characteristic can I adopt or drop to in order to transcend this limitation? And I say adopt or drop because sometimes we have to learn things in life and sometimes we have to unlearn things in life, right? So sometimes you have to adopt something and sometimes you have to drop. Sometimes it's a combination of the two, all right? But I got the answer, and my answer was prayer. Okay, so now I'm upgrading my identity by embodying the habit of consistent and intentional prayer. And as the days go by, and as the weeks go by, and I'm documenting all of this, I'm packaging this up for you guys. But as the days and the weeks go by, I'm beginning to notice the changes, right? Every move feels obvious now. Every opportunity feels chosen. Like it feels like it was hand picked for me. It's like I began to see like golden footprints lighting up on my path, like a cheat code, right? Like I don't feel rushed. I don't feel unsure. And this is when I reached an even higher level of creator observer mode, which is just another way of saying God consciousness. Because now I'm an intentional creator. I am co creating magic with my prayers, and I'm watching as it all unfolds in my life. I'm not being tossed around by life. I'm not being dictated by what happens to me. You know what I mean? I'm not hoping for things to go right. I'm observing it all play out because I know the end result. So now, rather than anxiety, right? Rather than a feeling of anxiety over the wish, being fulfilled or not, now there's just a curiosity of the path that will be chosen for the wish to be fulfilled. It's no longer a question of is the wish going to be fulfilled? Now it's a curiosity of, I wonder how God's going to play it today. I wonder how he's going to paint my life today, right? It takes away the fear, it takes away the worry, the doubt. It takes it all away, and it's just a curiosity, a curious, observant energy, an embodiment, right? And there's this beautiful knowing that it is done. And I earned that, right? Intentional and consistent prayer gave me that. Intentional and consistent prayer gave me the permission slip to rest in God's promise and to open my heart up to the opportunity of whatever the day holds. I mean, I haven't second guessed a decision in weeks. Certain things that felt like massive just a couple of weeks ago, I'm telling you, just a couple of days ago, it literally felt like no big deal when it happened today. Like it felt like the next logical step in my journey. And that very powerful feeling, that feeling is unlocking worlds for me right now. I mean, my mind and like my imagination is expanding in the craziest freaking ways. And that's always my favorite part, like the mind expansion. Like, I'm also giving you guys an extremely intimate look into my mind and into my subconscious as it's expanding right now in my manifesting or predicting series. And by the way, where was that? I think someone asked on here. That's purely soul creativity. That's not a teaching course. I wanted to make that clear. So only join, from like a curious and playful place. Of course, I do expand on a lot of things in there, and there is some teaching, but it's not an educational product. I just want to make that clear. It's just a creative space for me to indulge in my subconscious, like when you're sitting at the edge of your creativity and you're like brainstorming, like in what ways could you even begin to think bigger or dream bigger, and then without fail you do, like that kind of stuff. Like it's a fun game in there, but like I want you guys to understand, like that's purely for fun in there. Like if you want education, teaching, then definitely reach out before you get into that space. So, yeah, make sure you purchase my book, The Ultimate Health and Wellness Guide. always available in the description box of wherever you're listening to this. Subscribe to the podcast. We have so many goodies coming up. I was just interviewed on a good friend of mine's podcast. I'm going to give you guys access to that soon. And I have some amazing guests who will be coming on my podcast. So you guys have to stick around for that. If you'd like support in transcending the limitations in your own life, maybe you're not sure where to begin, I would highly recommend either an onboarding call with me or a human design reading so that you can see exactly what natural gifts you have and what your path of least resistance looks like as far as personal success and fulfillment. Email my team at contact@kaliatranscends.com. If you're not sure which route to take, we'll be happy to help. And I'm staying consistent in the inner circle for you guys that were interested in my health and wellness habits and my lifestyle. That's available in the description box as well. I'm going to be doing weekly uploads and weekly updates in there. Also, comment and let me know any major ahas that you guys get from these episodes. Someone DM'd me from the last episode and they shared the most unique and interesting perspective, and it just makes me so excited for where this channel is going to go and where this community is going to go and the type of beautiful minds that I'm going to attract here. So please share that with me. I want this to be much more of an open discussion kind of community. I thrive best in open conversation. So yeah, I'm glad to have you here listening. I hope to hear from each of you and get to know you all, and I'm really happy. I hope you join me here next time, and goodbye.